Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unfiltered Tales Season 5, Episode 9. So today, they have an old saying that says sometimes you gotta fall, but you rise like the phoenix. So I went and found Phoenix Ash for y'all today. How you doing, Phoenix Ash?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. Before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Phoenix Ash. I am a published author. I believe it's 6 books. It might be seven that I have available all on Amazon. It's on Kindle Unlimited as well. So if you want to read for cheap to see if you like me or not, that's the way to do it. Also host the podcast Life is P, which you can find on Spotify as well as Apple Podcasts, as well as I believe we on Audible now. Um, I think we might be somewhere on YouTube. I'm not sure. I don't know that part, so I don't know. I'm a single mom. I have a full-time job, plus I'm a writer, plus the podcast host. And my biggest job, I feel like, is to cheerlead Black people. So there you go.
Oh, like I said, I had 2 weeks to study you. So you used to rap back in the day?
I did. I did.
You used to rap?
I did. I did. Right now when I'm coming home from work and I'm in a sundress and I'm hot and all the things you might not could tell, but put me in a baseball hat and you might be able to see the vision. I started writing raps when I was 10.
Okay.
I had a cousin who used to hang out with the fat boys.
Okay.
And um
Rest in peace, Fat Boys.
and he used to write, he used to rap like, so I grew up in Brooklyn. My cousin rapped all around East New York. He was from the projects in New York, and I'm from East Flatbush, and so I just wanted to be like him.
Hmm.
And he used to write his rhymes in a notebook, and it used to be like straight across, no breaks. He used to just write straight
Mm,
across. And so I would take his notebooks, and to me, the words that rhyme stood out.
okay.
So I would, when he would come in after hanging with his friends all night, I would be like, yo, listen to this. And I would recite, I would put on his jewelry, put on his hat, and I would like go in. And I was 10. And he was so amazed. He was like, I write my rhymes like that so that no one can steal them.
Right.
But he was like, but you caught the cadence. Like,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh, so I could do this. And he used to have a mic and the whole setup in his room and everything. So I used to look forward to going over there on the weekends and rocking the mic. And then, as I got older, I wrote for a couple of people and I did my thing a little bit.
So you ghost written for anybody famous,
I
locally famous or worldly famous?
feel like if they're famous, it's in circles that I don't know. So a lot of times, like when you go to the studio, you are around a lot of people who just got signed
Hmm.
or is looking for a deal. And so I have collabos and I've written songs for a lot of those people. But if you know anything about the music industry, like if they sign 100 people, 98 of them is getting shelved to never be heard again. So yeah, that's basically how that go.
So who's the, I would guess say, who's the best lyricist you ever been in the studio with?
Me?
Oh, besides you. Besides you.
I don't know.
Okay. She's like Dylon, 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 Dylon.
No, there's this dude. I don't remember his name. He was with a rap group. So my memory is shit. So if you, I know you follow me on Twitter, so I feel like you should know by now that my memory is crap.
Right.
Uh, but what is his name? I can't remember his name. He was part of a rap group that was signed to Bad Boy. And they did a lot of ghostwriting for Bad Boy artists.
Okay.
And I think he was one of those groups who like was coming out but never came out. And then I think eventually they ended up suing, to come out of their contract. Um, but he was nice. He was nice.
Got you. Funny thing you mentioned this because this has been like a bad boy week for me because I was actually watching Notorious the other day. I don't know. Anthony Mackie, we still ain't forgave you yet. So like, we haven't forgiven you yet, Anthony
So
Mackie, on
we
that.
gotta forgive now, given the current climate. We gotta forgive him.
I'm not forgiving him for that Tupac impression. He
I'm
can
gonna
never
forgive
give it.
him. I'll forgive him because somebody hired him. It wasn't his. Somebody hired him.
Yeah, I know, but still. So you did the rap thing. You did you did gospel, you did playwrights. So your stories became more big and more complex as you went. So as I was going through your books, I'm like, I'm old enough to know, I don't know who's watching right now, but I don't know if they're old enough to know because we had back in the day a lady named Zane. I think it was a
Yeah,
man or woman. I can't remember.
I feel like Zane still do stuff now because there's a couple of readers that I know who have said they were reading Zane. So I believe Zane might be doing some stuff now.
So we looked at that and I'm like, these titles give me that presence. Like I remember my mother reading this stuff when I was growing up. So, like, how do you get your inspiration? Like, what empowers you to write those type of novels, books?
First I do want to clarify my content is not like Zane's.
Okay.
The titles are suggestive on purpose, is to create interest. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it is reflective of the content of the book, but maybe not. There's some Zane parts, like has some erotica. I mean, I feel like at this age, at my age, like if you want me to not write sex at all, like it's a wrap. I can't do it. I gotta write something in there. But I am literally designed to be a storyteller. And I
Okay.
say that because a lot of my stories come from just randomness in my brain. So, like, I'll have a dream and I wake up from my
Mm-hmm.
dream. I remember details, like, and oh, that kind of sounds like a book. So I will write it down. I come across phrases randomly and I'd be like, oh, that's a title of something. I don't know if it's a title of a book. I don't know if it's a title of a chapter, but it's a title of something. And so I'll write it down and kind of keep it in my notes. So when I need that stuff, I have some place to go to my records and say, I need a title for it. Is there anything in here? Um, Sometimes I just could be walking around my house and the whole picture of a whole story, it kind of plays in my mind like a movie. And really, when I'm
Mm,
outline or when I'm writing, it's really just remembering the movie I saw.
okay. So when I say like Zane, I didn't like the whole content, but it's just the titles like In Her Makeup, Soil Sheets, Touch Me First, Cookies and Crumbles, Delectable, Sweet Romance. But looking at that like automatically just popped in my brain.
Yeah,
So
like
you
that on.
what you say?
It's like that on purpose.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So I want to ask you, so like we picked up from your actual website that says like a feminine balance between power and vulnerability.
Hmm.
So how do you personally define like feminine power?
Um, well, I don't know how to. To me, it's always going to be feminine, whatever it is, whether it's power, and it's because I am a woman, and I don't know what it is to be a man. So my perspective, in my opinion, is always feminine because it comes from me as a woman and my experience. Um, in terms of power, I feel like learning how to own your shit. Um,
Right.
owning your flaws as well as your ability to accomplish,
Hmm.
and being honest with yourself. I feel like there's great power in anyone who is honest with themselves and
Correct.
is brave enough to be honest with the people that they interact with. And a lot of times we see characters, in my opinion, who have this power, and there's stories written about this power, but I feel like it's not necessarily balanced because we're all complex, and I feel like all of us to some degree are walking contradiction, right? Like I can
Hmm.
really confident to someone, but it doesn't mean that I don't have a host of vulnerabilities.
Right.
And so I typically will explore how we as women could be super, super, super vulnerable, and the things that we do to hide it, to move on from it, to heal from it, to mask it. Um, and sometimes how we use those vulnerabilities to amplify our power and to go past whatever level we're on.
Okay. So, do you think society misunderstands or underestimates like feminine power?
I don't. I feel like anything that anybody is working to suppress, the power is understood.
Hmm.
So whether it be being a woman, whether it be being, black or brown or whatever, I feel like people don't work to suppress what they don't see as powerful. So I don't think it's underestimated at all.
So it's not underestimated. So you
No.
spoke about, as far as like being vulnerable. So how do you handle like the power, like having being powerful and then being soft at sometimes? Like, how do you handle that?
I don't really, which is why I write books about it because
Okay.
it's an ongoing struggle. It's ongoing, recognizing my own vulnerabilities. A lot of the times the characters in my books, which is probably why it comes to me in dreams or random thoughts, because a lot of times it's something that I'm trying to work out within myself, or it's something that I've noticed within myself, or I'm a pattern thinker, so when I see a pattern, um can't help but to address it. And I just feel like I got to a place, I matured to a place where I could recognize my vulnerabilities, but I needed ways to work them out. So I worked them out through books.
Okay. So it works out through your book. So it shows up in your storytelling. And does it show up doing Life is P, your podcast?
Yes, it does. There's a piece of me in everything. Um, there are things that I've experienced, feelings that I've had, words that I've said that have all made it through books. It may not be a particular incident that I'm giving all in one shell. I break it apart and give a piece here and give a piece in another book, but there are parts of my real life experience that have all made it to books. And I talk about that on Life is P. I talk about my experience in life as a writer, as a single mom, as a divorcee, as, someone I moved about 3 years ago to another state. So I just talk about all those things and all the things that the universe is revealing to me as I go along, not just as a way to work out what's in my own mind, but also to help anyone else who might be in the same mental place and need some help along their journey.
Okay. I think our internet detectives found out where you moved at 'cause somebody just put this up. Hold up, is Maryland in the house? So they're good
Yes,
detectives.
yes, yes. We in Maryland. I used to be in Delaware, but yes, I'm in Maryland.
I got you. So, like when you're doing this and you're becoming like vulnerable while you're doing your storytelling, how do you protect your emotional boundaries while still showing up authentically?
I feel like I actually don't work that hard to protect my emotional boundaries.
Okay.
Um, I kind of just let things flow. I feel like I've had podcasts in the past. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it's probably a show somewhere where somebody heard me crying. Um,
Mm.
no, particularly after like I had a friend that I met her in Hawaii during a conference and we instantly hit it off.
Okay.
We talked for hours, and at the end of the night is when she confided in me that she had stage 4 colon cancer.
Oh, oh man.
And I was like, oh my God, like, how are you here? Or whatever. And we had this great friendship for months. Um, and then one day I stopped hearing from her. And a couple weeks later, someone reached out to me to let me know that she passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And so I feel like the show that I did after that, like I kind of remember like, yeah, I was crying during that show. So I don't work that hard to protect it because honestly, books and my podcast are my safe place because
Right.
these are worlds that I've created. And the people, I feel like the tone of both my stories as well as the podcast, I feel like are inviting people into my world. And I am so very lucky that the people who have said, yes, I'm going to come into your world, they're like, yo, I'm here, yo. And they just like ride. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Oh man. So so you have life as P, and you that's your world. And
Mm.
as far as everything else, you stated the storytelling and all of that. So has there ever been a point where it's just like, I just want to stop? And what'll keep you going? Just like, I don't want to write anymore. I don't want to podcast anymore. I don't do any of this.
I would think that the business of it all has made me be like, do I really want to keep doing this? But in my DNA, like I can't. Like if I stop, there is no stopping in my mind. The only thing that would stop is like if I put it out for public consumption or if I, decided not to sell stories or whatever. That's the only part that would stop. But I tell you, like I started writing poetry and from poetry I went to rap and from rap, I was getting older and was like, okay, I can't rap all my life. I'm gonna go get me a master's in creative writing. And I went to get my master's in creative writing thinking that I was going to learn how to write this great novel. I ended up coming out with a master's in screenwriting, but then using that skill to create books. So, like, I feel like writing has just been just part of the DNA of who I'm developing to be. It's all intertwined in me. So I don't think I'll ever be able to stop.
So there's anything in production right now?
Yeah, listen, I the people in my life fight with me regularly. Um,
Mm,
and that's because I have a list, and my list, it's a shame. My list is about 15 books long,
mm,
and maybe a good 6 or 7 of those are books that I've already started writing.
okay.
Rest are like ideas from dreams, from experiences, and so yeah, there's always something in production.
So is there any book to film adaptation coming?
I would hope so. None that I know about. Um, but definitely open to that, especially being that, I have the skill. I can assist with writing the screenplay. Um, but nothing that I know about just yet.
All right. So how did you come up with these you say dreams, but I know it has to be a little bit more like in her makeup. Like, how did you come up with that?
Um, well, the story, and I don't even know if that was the first title. I don't know. But by the time I finished it, it was the title. Because the story is about a young girl in college, and she's a stripper, and she's coming, like, you really got to know why she became a stripper, and just like going through a rebellious stage and all these things or whatever, and all these things from her past and people who have raised her and all the secrets that are coming out. Whereas, like, it could be in her makeup in terms of like she's making herself up and, she's gonna go dance, but it's also in the makeup of who she is. So, like, some of the things that she's dealing with is because of how she's been raised and what's been poured into her. So, it's how she's made up.
Okay. Soil sheets.
Soil Sheets is actually a book for domestic violence awareness. Um, and it really follows, um, it starts off as a love story, and just really talks about the love story. It's a young couple, and when they start off, they're very intense and
Hmm.
move very quickly. And then, at one point, it turns left. But it's Soil Sheets because, like, it's not the passion that you thought it was, right? It's kind of dirty. And my grandparents are, on my mother's side, are from Jamaica, and I feel like I didn't really realize this when I was doing the title, but I feel like soiled is more of a word that we would use.
Right.
It's not necessarily popular, but whatever.
I understand that. Cookies and crumbles.
Cookies and Crumbles is actually related to Soil Sheets, where Soil Sheets is the mother's story and Cookies and Crumbles is the daughter's story. And that one is more like urban, like, falls falls for a singer. Um, and the life, but she's got some like crazy secret. She's just done some really crazy shit, and so that she feels really guilty about. And then um, she's kind of caught between him and his friend, and it's so, like, Cookies is definitely about the sweetness. It's about, it's a lot of sexual tension, sexual passion in there. um, but Crumbles is because, shit sometimes falls apart, and, you got to clean the mess up.
I got you. So let me see one more. Long neck bottles.
Long Neck Bottles is actually, I very rarely talk about that book. It is my first published book. I think I published it in 2017. Um, it's a very small book. It's my only nonfiction book.
Okay.
Um, it was really about, at the time, I had left my corporate career to
Hmm.
pursue writing. And it was really about, like, why I chose to pursue it and how I used that book as a way of teaching myself how to self-publish. So I was like, let me write a book. I wrote that book in like 3 days. I was like, let me write a book and I'm going to publish it. And so, like, I downloaded Amazon's publishing stuff and went to town. I formatted it, everything myself. I do not recommend. Um, that was like my teaching book. That was my teaching book. But the whole point of Long Neck Bottles is to talk about the universe and drinking up, um and having like a glass of champagne with the universe, like, cheers to the universe, and inviting the universe to your party, um and letting the universe invest in you and take part in your development.
Okay. So now with all the creative writing and everything you've done from, I feel like you lived a life like Master P, from rapping to acting to screenwriting to books. What would the older Phoenix Ash tell the younger Phoenix Ash?
Don't worry about none of this shit. Do whatever it is that you enjoy doing, and don't worry about it. Do not worry about who doesn't support it. Don't worry about how you're gonna do it. Just do it. Do it. It's
Okay.
it's gonna take you places. And you Just go.
Okay. So with the podcast, with the writing, what surprised you most from, your listeners and your readers? What surprises you the most?
The podcast, I think what surprises me the most is that people are moved enough to discuss whatever I talked about in my DM.
Okay.
And that they're so moved to retweet it, to comment on it, to do all of those things in a public place. Like, I know it probably sounds performative or crazy. Like, every time I repost it and I'm like, I got real tears or whatever, or like, oh my God, this touches me. Like, it really does. Because when I started the podcast, I probably had two listeners, and my auntie might have been one of them. And I didn't know what I was talking about, where I was going, and I had no idea that I was going to come to a place where I would say things regularly that other people would relate to, support me through, and appreciate my support of them. So that's what surprised me about the podcast. The books, what surprised me is that although the group is small, there are people who will read whatever I write. And
That's a true fan base.
yo, that and I think I just got on TikTok maybe like a year or so ago. And I found like new people there who, like, whenever I post books, they're like, yes, girl, this was my book or that. And that, I don't think that ever gets old to me.
No, it shouldn't.
Yeah.
So for those who looking for the books, they can go on Amazon or you can go to phoenixashtheauthor.com. She said there's on Kindle as well, right?
Yes, they're on Kindle. They're on Kindle Unlimited. Um, if you sign up for my website, if you subscribe to the website and you read the book Savage Fever, which Savage Fever is available. It is a series, but it's the whole series is in one book. Um, if you read that and you sign up for my website, you actually get an extra chapter for free. Um, there's one that's automatically sent to you afterwards, and I think it's pretty satisfying. So.
She done transferred over to the world of video gaming where she just give you the complete game, but hey, if you pay $5.99, I'm gonna give you an extra chapter. So you just gotta read
Oh,
for
but
free.
listen, extra free. Gotta subscribe to the website, and it's free. I don't charge you for anything. You just be a part of my mailing list, and I will automatically send you the free chapter.
Well, I'm pretty sure after this, there's going to be a bunch of new people that probably download your book or order your book. Me personally, I know I'll probably order it because I have every author that came on the show. I actually have their book, and I don't know if
Awesome.
I'm be able to read them all, but
I
I have enough
I
books.
Savage Fever for you.
Savage Fee. Okay, that'll work. That'll definitely work. But this is my favorite part of the show where it's called I Be Damned, where people go on crazy dates and they do extra shit. Nobody gets hurt.
Okay.
And so this is what happened today. My mother had me when she was 15. So at 40 years old, she could pass for my oldest sister with her substance abuse issue. This has caused conflict in my personal relationship as a mother. My mother has slept with two of my past boyfriends. I met a guy. We moved an hour away from my mother and we were living happily ever after. So I thought, I posted one date night TikTok with my boyfriend and my mother went crazy. She wants to talk to me. It's important, blah, blah, blah. I ignored her. Mother posted an angry video. I should have swallowed you. I work at a high school. One of the students saw it and it went viral at the school. I was asked to take a 5-day paid leave while the matter was handled. Mother posts another angry video. Why are you hiding your man? You're scared he's going to get some quality top from me. Video goes viral at school. Again, school asked me to resign. What to do about my unhinged mother? That's this week's I Be Damned.
Wow.
Oh man, yeah.
Not to talk about somebody mother, but homie, your mother ain't shit.
Like yeah, that is crazy. That is definitely crazy. But
Yeah, I do
before, go
training
ahead,
order.
I'm listening.
I
I'm,
was just training order.
yeah, you got to get a restraining order and move further than an hour. You need a plane ride away from your mother. We're at least going to take 3 to 4 hours to get there on the plane.
I'd block her on everything. You can't tag me on nothing. I will block her.
Yeah, she didn't mess with your whole livelihood, mess with your finances and all. And you know that video went viral and it was played all through the class, through the
Mm,
school.
that's nasty work.
Yeah, it is. All right, so you said you rap. Before you go, who's your 5 top favorite MCs of all time?
Question.
You don't have to put them in order. You don't have to put them in order.
Well, anybody who knows me from Twitter knows that Jadakiss is there. Oh,
Okay.
that's my guy. He's my favorite. Um, so Jadakiss, Jay Z. Um, shit, I would just end it right there. But Jadakiss, Jay. Um, I guess Biggie would be there. Um, DMX.
Rest in peace.
What's that? That's four, right?
That's 4.
I'm trying to think who else I'd be like. Oh, I really like them. Who do I really like? Nobody. I'll say Styles P.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Phoenix Ash. To cop the book, she's on Amazon, Phoenix Ash, or you can go to her website, phoenixashtheauthor.com.
Yes. Come on in.
Um, Next week we back. We're gonna wrap. This has been 4th week with authors. We're gonna wrap it up next week with our author segment. We're coming from someone from Alaska next week who has true crimes, like that stuff we watch on TV1. He wrote a book about all the true crimes that get dark in Alaska. I didn't know shit went down in Alaska like this. So I was watching the trailer. So I'll put the trailer up later this week. Beheadings and all going on in Alaska. So we're gonna deal with that next week. So same time, same place. Make sure you read a book and get the free chapter. What was it,
Savage Fever.
Savage Fever. Make sure you read the book and get the extra chapter from her. Try to turn her books into film adaptation, or at least some type of YouTube story that happens. Content creator creates a skit, a little movie. So same place, same channel next week. If you missed the video, audio will be on all streaming platforms by Friday. By Friday afternoon. Right after power goes off in the morning. Let's just put it, let's plain and simple what I do after power goes off. So I'll see you next week. Same time, same place, 7 p.m. from the dark side of Alaska.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Oh.